Elliot had always loved old books, especially the ones tucked away in the dusty corners of his grandfather's library. The room smelled of aged paper and ink, the wooden shelves lined with tomes that seemed untouched for decades. But he never expected to find a mystery hidden between their pages. One stormy afternoon, while flipping through an ancient leather-bound volume, a brittle parchment slipped out and fluttered to the floor. Lightning flashed outside, illuminating the faded ink scrawled across the parchment. His heart pounded as he picked it up, his fingers trembling with anticipation. It was a map, its edges singed with time, its surface decorated with cryptic symbols and names he didn't recognize. But one thing stood out, a bold red X near the edge of a forest. Elliot stared at it, his breath shallow. The landscape looked familiar. It bore a striking resemblance to the woods behind his grandfather's house. Was this real? Could it be a joke? His grandfather, a quiet man with a love for storytelling, had passed away months ago, leaving behind an air of mystery that Elliot never quite understood. His fingers traced the inked lines as a cryptic message revealed itself near the bottom. To those who seek, dig where the oak and stone meet. He knew he couldn't do this alone. Racing to his best friend's house, Elliot banged on the door, barely able to contain himself. Clara answered, her face scrunching in irritation at being interrupted from her book. This better be good. It's better than good, Elliot panted, shoving the parchment into her hands. I think it's a real treasure map. Clara's skepticism melted as she examined the map. Her sharp eyes traced the faded symbols, and she frowned. This doesn't look like a fake. Where did you get it? From one of my grandfather's old books. A shadow passed over Clara's face. She had loved Elliot's grandfather, a man full of wisdom and riddles. If this was from him, it had to mean something. They wasted no time. Packing flashlights, gloves, and a small shovel, they made their way to the woods. The trees were dense, their branches clawing at the sky as the wind howled through the leaves. Thunder rumbled ominously in the distance. This feels like a horror movie, Clara muttered, scanning the darkening woods. Elliot swallowed. We'll be fine. But as they ventured deeper, the atmosphere thickened with an eerie silence. Every crunch of leaves underfoot felt deafening. The map guided them along a narrow path, past gnarled trees that looked like frozen specters. Then they saw it. A massive oak tree with a moss-covered boulder nestled at its roots. This is it, Elliot whispered. His palms were slick as he gripped the shovel. He stabbed at the damp earth, each thrust of the blade sending a chill down his spine. Minutes passed, their breaths quickening as the soil gave way beneath their efforts. Then thunk. Something solid. They exchanged a glance, hearts hammering, before Elliot knelt and scraped away the remaining dirt with his hands. A wooden chest lay beneath them, its surface weathered and rotting. With shaking fingers, he pried it open. Inside was a collection of aged coins, a delicate locket, and a letter, the ink still bold despite the years. Clara held up the letter, unfolding it carefully. Elliot leaned in, his pulse roaring in his ears as he read the words, written in his grandfather's familiar scrawl. To the one who follows the trail, remember, treasures are not always gold. The greatest riches are the adventures we take and the friends we share them with. They exhaled simultaneously, a mixture of relief and awe washing over them. The treasure had been a lesson, one from beyond the grave, from a man who had always valued wisdom over wealth. But as they sat there, something rustled in the trees. A whisper on the wind. Clara's grip tightened on the letter. Elliot, we're not alone. The shadows shifted. A branch snapped nearby. Elliot's blood ran cold. This adventure wasn't over yet.